Hi, Eagles. This afternoon, we're going to try lunch a little bit differently. I've created a special video for your Socratic discussion this afternoon. We have two virtues of the day, courage and justice, which we discussed this morning. In this video, you're going to hear more on justice, especially with how it applies to peace tables. Peace tables are going to be the basis for creating your studio constitution. A constitution is a group of ideas or rules that govern a community, and those rules we call laws. During the past week and a half, you've struggled through creating good rules. A good rule is easy to remember and enforce. A bad rule is hard to remember and hard to enforce. This video will show you the basics of creating good governing rules for your community, and over the next 2 weeks, you will all need to have peace tables to flesh out the rules for your studio constitution. This constitution will be signed by every Eagle in a ceremony and celebration. So pay close attention to this video so that you can understand this process. As you've learned, arguments and fights can surprise us and take us off guard. These arguments are possible for 2 reasons. First, the things we use every day are limited, meaning there isn't an unending supply. At some point, we will run out. Our time is limited. Our patience is limited. Our books, paper, markers, even our food, and other things are limited. The second reason is because we all have many different ideas about how to use those things and who gets to use them. Some of us want to use our time quietly, other times want to use it loudly. Some of us have more patience for annoying things, while others do not. Some of us want to use the same books, paper, markers, and tools as others, or even eat the food someone else has. We call the things that are limited scarce, and we call the different ideas about how to use those things diversity. Scarcity and diversity of our things means that there is a risk of losing peace in the community, and so special rules or laws are necessary for cooperation. Listen to this story about Adam and Ben and how peacemaking can produce good laws.
Imagine 2 individuals stranded on a desert island, Adam and Ben. Adam picks a supply of apples, but then Ben comes along and takes an apple without Adam's consent. That's my apple, because I picked it. It's my apple, because it was on my tree. With no one else on the island, Adam and Ben have no one they can turn to for help resolving this conflict. They may succeed in negotiating a peaceful settlement, or they may resort to physical violence. Now suppose there is a third individual on the island, Charlie. Now there is another possible way for Adam and Ben to resolve their apple conflict peacefully. Ask Charlie for his opinion and agree to whatever resolution he suggests. We're having a dispute over an apple. Both of us claim it as our own. Will you arbitrate for us? This is third-party dispute resolution. Adam and Ben both make their cases to Charlie. Charlie must decide who he believes has the stronger claim to the disputed apple, and then pronounce a judgment on the case. I do not think Ben owned the tree, so I award ownership of the apple to Adam. Charlie has just produced a law. He has made a judgment about who the rightful owner of a disputed property is. He has awarded legal ownership of a property to one of the disputants. But Adam feels that it would be unjust if Ben only has to return the apple he stole. Adam wants Ben to be punished and wants compensation for having his time wasted. He insists that Ben pay him 5 additional apples, and then he will consider the matter settled. Unable to resolve this dispute between themselves, they ask Charlie for his opinion. Charlie recognizes the need to compensate Adam for his lost time, and to punish Ben. His opinion is that a payment of 2 additional apples from Ben to Adam would be a just resolution to this conflict. Since the purpose of Adam and Ben turning to Charlie was to help them resolve the dispute peacefully, both men will agree to his decision. If one of them does not, then they are back to having to resolve the conflict between themselves, either peacefully or otherwise. By arbitrating on a conflict and helping to resolve it peacefully, Charlie has produced a law. Now suppose sometime later on the island another conflict occurs, this time between Adam and Charlie. If they cannot resolve the dispute between themselves, they could ask Ben to arbitrate for them. "I'll arbitrate for you." When Ben provides them with his opinion on the conflict and suggests a resolution, he too will have produced a law. And if Ben and Charlie ever get into a dispute, they could ask Adam to produce a law for them. There are multiple producers of law in this society. No single producer of law is in a privileged position. There is no ruler and no one is ruled. Everyone is of equal status with respect to the laws. If Charlie is able to maintain a monopoly of arbitration and ultimate decision-making, he will have put himself above the law, and Adam and Ben can no longer be considered free men. Now suppose there are a few more individuals in this island society, and 2 of them have a dispute that they cannot resolve peacefully among themselves. The disputants have a choice of arbitrators that might help them resolve the conflict. There is competition in the production of law. Who will they choose? The ideal arbitrator will be someone who is impartial and who has a good reputation for being fair, honest, and wise. With a larger population, some individuals who possess these qualities may find that they can make a living purely by providing arbitration services to disputants. They will be professional judges and may create firms selling laws. Their consumers will be disputants who need help resolving a conflict, and their income will depend on their reputation for making wise and fair decisions. If any one of them tries to become a monopolist, for example by insisting on being judge in a case involving himself or a member of his family, he will quickly lose his reputation and his livelihood. The principles of having competition in the field of law do not change as society becomes larger and more complex.